please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live.
Hey everybody, we are back for another 2020 NHL qualifying round series preview, and today we're going to be looking at the 6-11 matchup in the Eastern Conference between the 6-seed Carolina Hurricanes and the 11-seed New York Rangers. Before we begin, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new, and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, as those likes go a really long way in helping the channel and are very much appreciated. Let's get into it here, starting with Carolina, who is the higher seed in this series. Even though a lot of people are buzzing and talking about the Rangers, Carolina is definitely the top, or the favorite here in the higher seed. They finished the year with a 38-25-5 record for 81 points on the season, and they were in a wild card playoff spot at the time that the season was stopped. However, and people are reading into this, I think, a little too much. Regular season series doesn't really translate to anything come playoff time most of the time. But the Hurricanes did go 0-4-0 against the New York Rangers this year. However, that was months ago, and I'm not reading a whole lot into that. I think some people are taking that a little too seriously, and it's going to be a clean slate, a whole new ball game when things start up here in August. Carolina this year scored 3.19 goals per game, which was good for 11th in the league. So obviously a pretty good year offensively for them, and they've got a ton of offensive talent on that team. A lot of young talent as well, which is obviously great to see. They also were pretty good defensively. I don't think Carolina gets as much credit for how good of a defensive team they are. They only gave up 2.84 goals against a game this year, which also was 11th in the league. So, they were just outside the top 10 in offense and in defense, and very, decent at both this year. And that defense core, when fully healthy, is certainly a D core to be reckoned with in the NHL. The Hurricanes excelled at special teams this year, both sides of the puck, power play and penalty kill. Their power play operated at 22.3%, which was 8th in the league this year. So top 10 power play and a top 5 penalty kill to go along with it that operated at 84% on the dot this season, 4th in the NHL. So special teams is an area that the Hurricanes absolutely can take advantage of to win games. And whether it's on the power play, whether it's killing off penalties, they use their special teams to their advantage, and they are very, very good at both of them. Their leading goal scorer this season was Sebastian Ajo with 38 goals, a massive, massive season for Ajo, and a quietly massive season for Ajo. I don't think a lot of people were really talking about him and how good of a year he had. He also led the team in points with 66 points, so led the team in goals and in points, had a huge year, and obviously just signed that long-term contract prior to this season with Carolina, so really living up to that here early on, and he looked fantastic this season. And their leading penalty minute getter was defenseman Joel Edmondson with 72 penalty minutes on the year. Not surprising. He's a big, rugged defensive defenseman. Takes care of his own zone first, not afraid to get involved physically, can drop the gloves, and as far as Carolina's lineup goes, probably the toughest player in the Hurricanes lineup. Moving on now to the New York Rangers. The Rangers finished the year with a 37-28-5 record, good enough for 79 points in the Eastern Conference. As we said, they went 4-0 against the Hurricanes in the regular season this year. That was regular season. Playoffs are a whole new ballgame. I wouldn't read into that too much, but the Rangers do have a good track record against the Hurricanes. They were an incredibly good offensive team this year, obviously led by Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin, scoring 3.33 goals per game, which was 5th in the NHL. So the Rangers had a top 5 offense this year, and that's one of the reasons they were able to win as many games, is just by outscoring their opponents and really putting up huge offensive numbers. Defensively, not so good. They gave up 3.14 goals against a game this year, which was 23rd in the NHL. So obviously with a young team, with a team that puts up a lot of points but isn't as defensively responsible, that's not surprising. And we did see them give up quite a few goals. They scored a ton of goals, but they gave up quite a few as well. Their power play to go along with their offense is very, very good. 22.9% on the power play this season, 7th in the league, so top 10 in the NHL for their power play. However, much like their defense, their penalty kill not nearly as good. Only 77.4% on the penalty kill, which was 23rd in the NHL. So it goes right along with their team defense. 23rd defensively, 23rd on the PK as well. And that's just an area of struggle for this young team is, defensive zone play. Their leading goal scorer this year was Mika Zibanejad with an incredible 41 goals on the season. Absolutely monster year for Zibanejad, and he really started it last year, but this season was a full-on coming out party for superstar Mika Zibanejad, and he had an outstanding season. And Artemi Panarin, the new guy just signed last summer, worth every penny for the New York Rangers as he came in and led the team in points with 95 points this year, also cementing his superstar status in the NHL. And he and Zibanejad are going to be a dynamic duo for years to come for the Blue Shirts. Another monster year for Panarin. 95 points in a shortened season is just incredible. Certainly would have been well over 100 had the season continued normally. Huge year for him, and he missed time with injury as well at points this season, as did Zibanejad. And finally, Brendan Lemieux led the team in penalty minutes with 111 penalty minutes on the season. Not surprising. He is a rugged, physical, get under your skin kind of winger. He is not afraid to fight. He actually was near the top of the league in fights this year. Very physical player. Hits all the time, always involved after the whistle, always dropping the gloves. And, fourth line guy who can also chip in a decent amount of offense. And, he played great really all season long in that fourth line role, and he's still a young guy. He really relishes that kind of play, and makes games exciting and is a really fun guy to watch. So he led the way as far as penalty minutes are concerned. And finally, my prediction, I'm going with the New York Rangers in 5 in this one. Maybe that's hopping on the bandwagon a little bit, but this Rangers team, there is something about them. They're so high flying. They're so I don't even know how to describe it, just all over the place, like up and down the ice, and very young, they play extremely enthusiastically. I feel like enthusiastic is a great word for it. They're just up and down, always jumping, high energy, really fun team to watch. And I think if there's any, low seed that could potentially sneak a run in here, I think the Rangers are a prime candidate to do it. I do have questions about their defense, but their goaltending situation is also really interesting with having the 3 goalies. But I mean, Shesterkin, I think, is the real deal and really could lead this team places. And the defense, if they can find ways to just keep scoring the way that they do, it's okay if they give up 3 or 4 goals a game, because they're probably going to score 4 or 5. So I've got the Rangers in this one, but that by no means says that Carolina can't win. I mean, Carolina is a very, very good team. I think a lot of us are overlooking Carolina in a lot of ways. I mean, this team was in the Eastern Conference Final last year. They were a conference finalist last year. They're the higher seed this year. And a lot of, because of the matchup, I think a lot of us are just overlooking them, because whoever the Rangers played against, I think the Rangers were going to be a popular pick. And it just so happened that Carolina is the team that they matched up with. But Carolina is a very, very good team in their own right, and are more than capable of winning this series. So overall, I think this is going to be one of the absolute best qualifying series of these playoffs. I'm so excited to see these teams play. And it's going to be so much fun to watch. They both play and both have tons of talent, a lot of young talent, a lot of high-flying offensive ability. Carolina is better defensively. The Rangers are not, but it's going to be back and forth, in your face series. I certainly think it's going to go the full 5 games. I think no matter what happens, whoever wins it, it's going to take the whole round. And it's just going to be really, really fun to watch, and one of the most exciting series that we'll probably see in the playoffs this year. So there are my thoughts on the Hurricanes-Rangers series. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the donation link, Patreon, and merchandise store down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.